show them to you, and then we're gonna kind of let you have time to work on all this stuff yourself, okay? So positioning your book and your notes mention using kneeling, half kneeling, quadruped, all that sort of thing. Something good to practice. I've never gone sitting to kneeling to standing. Have you? Oh, you have? Okay. I have. What kind of patient was it? Is it neurological?
Either neuro or like a patient who had just been like in a hospital, like had been really sick. Or
Oh,
I
okay.
feel it.
Oh, okay. So we've got a ton of stuff out to play with, but let's start with a sitting one first, okay? Going to do all right, you're a patient. Somebody come be a patient. Thank you, ma'am. I'm not gonna put her on the hospital bed, but we're gonna pretend it's a hospital bed, okay? So she is up, and we need to work on sitting activities, okay? So her feet are spread apart. Ideally, what provides the most security to the patient?
In terms of guarding technique?
Nope, just in terms of what makes her the most balanced. Feet flat on the floor, what else? Do a wide base of support, what else? Arms are down, put your arms down, please, ma'am. I know you're on a chair, but that's okay. All right, so how do I progress this patient? How can I assess her first to see how her balance is? Okay, but I'm worried about sitting balance right now.
See if they're like leaning or.
Yeah, take your hands off of them and see what happens. Now, typically, I would be sitting in front of her if we're doing standing balance, but I'm not gonna do that so y'all can see, okay? But I would be sitting in front of her, holding the gait belt and assessing her balance, okay? So I want you to just let go and let's just see how she's doing. You just do it. Okay, back. I'll just do this. I'll be off to the side. Okay. How can I progress this? Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Balance is still pretty good. How can I progress it? I can do some perturbations in this position. All right, close your eyes for me. Okay, so she's pretty good there. How else? What's next?
Take your feet up. Yeah, could you have them like do a march?
Absolutely. I can have her march. I'm watching her posture if I'm having her march, okay? Or I can go put your feet super close together. Okay? Now march.
Just with both or with just with one? Like this?
Let's start with one.
Okay.
Okay? Both knees down, straighten this leg out. Close your eyes. Go along with me. Does it change her a little bit? Does a little bit, okay? Simple progression. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're getting her ready. So we're still working on some core strength and we're still working on balance. How can I progress this more?
Still in the seated position.
Still in a seated position. Oh,
I'm gonna write things on the board.
okay. How would you progress this? Now she's not in a hospital bed, she's in an actual chair. How can I progress this?
Both feet up.
That takes a whole lot of core strength. She is not gonna like me much for that. How could you progress? Look at all this stuff that we set out. What could you do to make this more challenging? I can put some underneath the feet, absolutely. We got a wobble board handy. Does that challenge her core more? Absolutely. Okay. What else could I do? I could do a ball toss and spear, make her think about something external. Okay. When you're progressing balance, start with whatever you want them to do, then add something external as your progression to get them distracted to see if they can maintain their balance while they're doing something active. Very good. How else?
Do you like cones and how to reach in place?
Sure. That's one thing I can do. But how can I progress the sitting part? What's next? What do you think?
Move to that end of the chair.
She's not using the backrest, so I'm not too worried about that. Not quite. We're
talking about keeping her in the chair or other options
Keep
available?
her in the chair.
You need core exercises?
I can do some core stuff. I can engage more turning instead of just arms, absolutely. What else? I could do visual if it's an issue. How about, if I
Keep
do
things up
this?
off the floor.
Go ahead, stand up. Sit back down. Ah, close your eyes. Is she more off balance? She is, okay? What else could I ever sit on? Somebody go grab one. Somebody go grab one.
Oh, the stability ball?
The stability ball. I just turned this into a pretty difficult activity, yes? Okay? You safe?
Yeah.
I would never leave my patient, right? Thank you, ma'am.
Right. Oh.
I'm just kidding. I know your balance is decent. All right. Go ahead and sit on this one. Somebody come toss her a ball. Thank you, ma'am. Oh. Be close together, please. Oh, challenge her.
I wasn't aiming for you.
The instructor now. It's getting dangerous in here. Okay, lift one leg up.
Oh, man.
Oh, snap, that's hard, isn't it? Pause. Okay, that was like literal, here.
Right in the air. With one foot still?
Yeah, one foot.
I'll just throw it at you.
It's challenging, right? Okay. Now let's add in a core exercise. This is already a pretty good core exercise, right? How can I do something more to help the core? Do what? Okay. Think you can do that? Take out the magnet disc. There we go.
So just keep
So
it
you
in a
can't
lean back
actually come
position?
Lean back. Now come forward and throw it back.
Wall behind your head too.
Now this is clearly for an advanced patient, right? At this point, do they really need therapy? Probably not. But for my athletes, you can do that. You can do all kinds of progressions with this thing, right? But where did we start? Go ahead and pause. Started here as if she was 80 years old and just sitting up in the hospital bed for the first time, okay? But that's a basic progression. Wide basis support to narrow basis support. Eyes open, eyes closed, add in external things, okay? Make sure you're keeping them safe the entire time, okay? But you can get creative as you want to with this.
Can I make a? I just
Absolutely.
kind of wrote the progression here. So
Okay,
like,
awesome.
if you guys change their surface that they're sitting on, then you might go back to the beginning.
Yes.
So once you change something, you gotta make sure that they can still tolerate all of those other things. So if you gave them perturbations on a stable surface, and then you put them on a Dynadisc, let's see if they can do perturbations before we have them doing like what we were just doing, like throwing activities. You know, just always go kind of a step back to where you just were anytime you change the surface that they're on. Does that make sense to you guys? Eyes open, eyes closed.
What's EOEC?
Eyes open, eyes closed.
Oh.
I don't know if that's an approved abbreviation, I'm just.
It is for me, so that's.
And then static versus dynamic, so we were working on static activities, then it turned into a dynamic once we started throwing the ball. Keep in mind like what anticipatory versus reactive. So when we are doing perturbations, what is that?
Like you're going one way.
Reactive.
That's reactive.
How they're reacting to external force put upon them. What would be anticipatory? The ball. They see what's coming, how are they going to respond to that?
Should the ball
static on an unstable surface.
Yes. Now, I think in your Colby Kisner book, I think they consider the BOSU when they stand on it a dynamic, even if they're static standing, because that moves more. So I would still consider that static though. Okay, sitting on the ball for sure is static. We need to check about the BOSU.
Are they, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to hold still on an unstable surface? We're working on static balance, right? Do you want them to be able to move and maintain their balance without falling? That's dynamic.
Okay, good on sitting, that's one, okay? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and skip kneeling, quadruped, things like that. Y'all can work on that in a little bit when we get the free time. Let me show you a standing one, okay? Standing. Who's the next patient? Don't all jump at once. Okay, where's your gate bell?
It's in the
Where should you start somebody on this if you think they have a balance issue? Parallel bars. Thank you, parallel bars. Alright, go ahead and take it. Now typically when I'm working on balance, depending on the activity you stand behind or in front of when you're in the parallel bars, I prefer to stand behind, okay? But some of the activities I stand in front, okay? So, what makes him the most secure? Start that way. Wide base of support, both hands on the parallel bars, right? Okay, so how am I gonna progress him first? Okay, I could do some weight shifting, sure. All right, how are you feeling right now?
Good.
Okay, go ahead and take your hands off the parallel bars for me. He's pretty stable, right? That in itself is a progression. Does that make sense? All right, now I want you to put your hands back on the parallel bars. I want you to do a weight shift, back and forth, right to left. Take your hands off. Does that feel okay?
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead and put your hands back on. So I can do some weight shifting, okay? Now, static standing, what am I gonna do? What position am I gonna put him in? Not tandem first. Narrow, also known as Romberg stance, okay? So, Satchel, you're gonna put both feet together. Go ahead and take your hands off. How you doing?
Good.
Parallel bars are there if you need them. Now, here's another progression. If they're struggling with this one, I want you to put one hand on the parallel bar, okay? That's a progression. If he's struggling and he's really nervous to take his hand off, I'm gonna say, I want you to tap the parallel bar, okay? I'm building some confidence with my patient that they can take their hand off, but I'm not taking away their comfort, okay? Or their stability. All right, hands all the way off. Now I want you to close your eyes, okay? So he's doing that pretty well. How would I progress? Okay, what do you thinking, Martina? Perturbations, okay? I can push him around. Only time in therapy you get to push a patient around and call it therapy, okay? So, I can do perturbations. What next? Now I would go to tandem, okay? So, what's your strong leg?
Left.
Left? I want left behind and right in front. This gives him the most stability in this position, both hands on the parallel bars, okay? When you're having them get into position, have them hold onto the parallel bars just so that they're comfortable, okay? How you doing?
Good.
Doing good? Okay, take one hand off. Feel okay there?
Yeah.
Okay, start tapping that left hand for me. Take it all the way off. Close your eyes. It's doing pretty good there, okay? In this position, 10 to 30 seconds, if you're working on this, is pretty good, okay? If they're trying to hold this position, okay? Now, before I have them go to single leg stance, I still want to make this one a little bit more challenging. What can I do? Can do some perturbations. What else? Do what?
Oh, I just said that.
Okay, what else? What's gonna take his mind off what his feet are doing?
Having some visual.
I could do some visual. What else?
Fair
Throw a ball, pass cone, something, okay? Whatever it is to take their mind off what their feet are doing, okay? All right, so we did that and he's doing pretty well, okay?
So like dynamic upper extremity or trunk movement, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So at that point, we establish that the patient.
Yes, he's stable in this position, okay? But I've got his strong leg behind him, so now I'm gonna flip it. I want you to switch out your feet. What you'll find is a lot of times when they have to switch, that's like a whole different thing right there, okay? So I'm gonna go through some of the same stuff. Are you comfortable taking your hands off?
Mhm.
Okay, so his hands are off, eyes closed. He's still doing pretty good. I can do perturbations at the hip. Oh, it's a little off right there. Oh, his left leg is a strong leg, isn't it? Okay. So, I'm not saying his balance is bad, but could I work right there for a little bit? Sure. Okay, go ahead and throw a ball at him. With his eyes open.
Oh, God.
Wow, that was intense therapy is what that was.
Wow.
Caleb, will you throw a ball to him, please, sir? Now, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Go ahead and go up of the parallel bars and out in front of everybody. What is the difference in being in the parallel bars and not holding on and being right here and not holding on? He can't catch himself. That in itself is a progression. This builds confidence with your patient, but be careful of doing this because you want to make sure they feel comfortable, okay? But at a certain point, I want to get my patient to where they don't have to depend on that leg, okay? Most people don't have parallel bars in their home, okay? So I want them to get to where they're safe outside. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
So like even if they would be a progression, you put like a chair there for stability.
Yes. Yes.
Once you take them out of the parallel bars, are you starting over? Like, are you going back to, we're gonna do?
I'm probably not gonna start all the way over, but I might start longer and just see how he does and just make sure his confidence is okay. Depending on the patient, depending on your confidence, depends on how far back they are. Some of your patients who are scared to death to do this stuff, then take them baby steps. Okay? As soon as you say the word balance, they start getting nervous. Okay? So we're gonna go back to baby steps and do the basic stuff. Okay? Good there. All right, so now where am I gonna progress them to? Let's go back to the parallel bars so they can all see.
Do you have any something like taking a foot off?
Okay? Taking a foot, okay, so like, are you trying to work towards single leg stance?
Kind of, like, so he's just kind of going back and forth, but like maybe just taking the heel off at a time, like this?
Sure.
Is that a progression?
It wouldn't be a progression for tandem because that's pretty easy. How would I progress from tandem? That would be a great one. If like Romberg might be too much, then I'm gonna go back to here and just kind of get them to where they have their stability.
Anytime you're taking hands away, that's progression. So if you were here, hands, and you take hands away, we might need to go back to here first, take hands away, see how, and then go back. So yeah, that's the hard part about balance. There's so many components you have to think where you are and think of hands on there is adding to their balance. So anytime you take that away, you have to go back to where you were before that, before you just
Okay, still working on static. How do I progress it from tandem? Single leg stance. Okay, or stork stance. All right, we're gonna go with your strong leg, your left leg, sir. Both hands on the parallel bars, please. Just raise that right leg up. How you feeling there? Something to keep in mind with this one is it does get exhausting for your patients, okay? So if this is a struggle, what can I have them do? He's good at tandem, but he's struggling right here. What could you have him do? Do it. Could put something under his foot. I can go to here, or I can have him tap. Okay? Just getting him used to being on one leg, right? So I can put something under, whatever it may be, and just make most of his weight over there, and then go to tapping, and then we go to here, okay? So, all right, Satchel's doing pretty good. Go ahead and raise that leg back up. Take one hand off. Okay, take both hands off. If he's losing his balance, okay, what cues would you give him to help him regain his balance?
Center yourself.
Center, okay, how do you center
Hands
yourself?
back on the bar.
Do what? Focus on something still. You see that fire alarm right there?
Mhm.
I want you to focus on that, okay? Raise that leg up more. Is he better balance-wise? Okay, now, holding that same position, I want you to look right to left and turn your head. It's a little easier to throw them off balance, isn't it? Okay? Those are easy ways to progress it. Then, okay, so now I'm gonna go back to tandem, eyes closed, hands off. All right, so we're good there. Both hands on, raise your right leg. Right hand off, left hand off. What's he engaging? Ankle. What do you engage? Okay, his hips and nearly a step, right? Very good. All right. So, want to make this more dynamic. How are we going to do it? Yes, sir?
Going to document like of a tap, would you say like add patient tap or
I'd say SLS, single leg stance with tapping. 10 times is how I would document it. All right. How would we make this more dynamic?
Get out of the bars.
Get out of the bars. Okay, what else? Dynamic movement. I could do the Bosu, but I can't put him on a Bosu single leg stance, right? So let's actually, let's go do something before that. Throw me a half roller, please. Or bring me one, don't throw it at me. And the phone, yes. She's got a phone right behind you. I'm reading your mind. All right, so now I'm going to change his surfaces. Go ahead and take a step forward for me. All right, I want you to go back to Romberg on the phone. Hands off. Eyes closed. See a little more off balance? And do it at the hips. Just see where he's at. Okay? So now I want you to go into tandem. Might be a little big, or it might be a little small for your feet, but that's okay, we're gonna wing it. Eyes open. Oh, all of a sudden, that's a lot harder, isn't it? Okay. Eyes closed. Not even touching. I don't have to. Nothing moving. Eyes open. Okay. So I want to work on that one a little bit because he was a little off balance. So I want you to tap while your eyes are closed. Better or lumbar, whichever hand you want.
Just one.
Just one. And then we can start trying to work on getting this hand off. Okay? Very good. Go ahead and step off this one. All right, tandem.
That Tai Chi helping.
How's his balance?
Talk about not good. Oh, it was good.
It was good. What happened that made it not so good? What did he do? He was looking around and he started talking. Is that a distraction?
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not telling you to be quiet, okay? But that right in there is a challenge. I started talking to him. How's your day going?
Good.
How was Tai Chi?
Okay.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a more honest answer. All right. So, but that's a distraction, okay? I want you to look at all of your classmates one at a time. Oh,
Oh
it
my
becomes
God,
difficult.
It really does. Wow.
It does. It's crazy, right? Something so simple can become difficult. Go ahead and step off. All right. Satchel's a CrossFitter. He's trying to get some significant.
Why did we all laugh when she said that?
Why did y'all
I'm
laugh?
just kidding.
You don't even know my thing with CrossFit. Man,
I am a
alright.
CrossFitter.
Oh, you are a CrossFitter? I love CrossFitters. They're great. They are job security. Okay. Back out there. What am I really working on?
Squat now.
Right? Yay. What are we working on here? Ankle stability like crazy. Okay? So, am I probably going to do this with my 80-year-old balance patient? No, probably not. They probably don't need this. But this guy's pretty young, and he rolled his ankle, and we're trying to rehab it. Can I do something like this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay? Because is this strengthening as well? Oh, yeah. Okay? One foot.
Single leg stance.
Single leg stance. Doing pretty good.
Good job, Sasha.
Close your eyes.
Distracted.
Okay?
Oh.
All right. Put your foot down. Now, when I'm doing these kind of activities, I always tell the patient, don't fall, stick your foot back down. Okay? They will get distracted and like start falling over before they'll stick their foot back down. Just stick your foot back. Okay? All right. So, let's do a Dynadisc. Or a Theradisc, whatever y'all call them. Okay? Romberg, both feet on there. Now here's what I like about this one before I go to something like a Bosu. I've put quite a few elderly patients on a Bosu because I love putting them on that thing because if they can get on it, it builds confidence. Okay? Now, for practical purposes, are you going to jump right to that? No. Ray will be like, who taught you? Okay? It is a very long progression of many things that I've done before I've gotten to that point, and they have to be strong enough. But this is pretty good because it's not as high up, but it's still got that serious wobble factor. Okay? So I can do Romberg on here. I can put two and do tandem. I can do single leg stance on here to help start building up strength. Okay? All right. Dynamic. How do I make some more dynamic activities? Go to ball, what else? Cones, what else? I want you to come, oh, what is that one? The star, let's go do a star. All right.
You're gonna use the target?
Yeah, let's use the targets. Okay. Gonna give you a challenging one. All right, I'm standing in the middle. Listen. Actually, you're kind of too high for where I put this, but that's okay. All right. Now, let's say he's had right knee to the knee replacement. And we're trying to gain some proprioception back and strength at the same time. So we're having you stand right in the center of the circle on your right leg.
Good. Single leg.
Okay? Now I want you to tap each one of these targets.
My hand.
No. No. With your left foot.
Gotcha.
That one's always the tough one, okay? All right, go ahead and put your feet down. Same thing. What does he have to do now? He has to wait. Oh, that's a lot more challenging. Good. He's got a curtsy. What did I put with it though to help that knee? We're definitely working on balance, right? What else am I working on having her do that? Okay, some hip stability, glute med, and definitely knee strength, right? Do you have to have pretty good quads to be able to do that? Do it one more time. Switch legs so you are even for the day. Okay? All right, now do that again. Is he going into a mini squat?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did we just incorporate balance and strength together? Absolutely.
And look at
Okay.
what his trunk does when he has to compensate, so he's technically using his hip strategies. Because his hip is, the standing leg is going into extension.
Would shoes off be a progression?
Shoes off can be a progression, absolutely.
Could even like, would sitting on a ball and having him try to do the same thing
Oh,
work
absolutely.
more like core as well?
You can do this in quadruped and have them reach out in quadruped for balance. Okay? You can have them in quadruped and kick the leg out and kick the leg out. Okay? Balance is, you can do anything you want with it, okay? But you gotta start with the basics. As you can see, his leg was shaking a little bit, right? That's totally normal. This is advanced, okay? So on your practical, are you gonna start with this activity? No. Okay? Does that mean you can't throw this in? No. If I say, how would you progress them if they are this far along and they're trying to get back to an activity? Okay? You could say, I might do something like this if they have quad strength to do it.
And how are you gonna know where to start?
Okay.
You do a quick assessment, so what's one of those quick assessments? Do a tug. I'm sorry, I can't. What, anything else that you could,
Just Romberg, just see how they are with their
what would that be?
forward narrow face.
But what are you looking at there? What kind of balance? Static. And tug is gonna give you dynamic, it's gonna give you their sitting balance, it's gonna give you their dynamic balance, their static balance, it's gonna give you a lot more information.
Anytime you're quick assessing, whether it's balance, gait, have them do an activity. Balance, those are two great ones, but I know the question came up last week about, what if we draw a scenario and they've gotta do this exercise, how do I know if they're anteriorly or posteriorly rotated? Well, look at the patient and see what they are, okay? Look and have them stand up and just say, hey, I'm just checking out your posture, and if they're super like this, what are they? They're anteriorly, okay? If they stand up and they look like this, what are they? Does that tell you what you need to know? Yeah, it does, okay? On what you need to be working, does that make sense? Yes.
So for your balance activities, is this the same type of like fatigue if they start getting that shakiness, if they feel like they can't do it, that's when you're saying, okay, we're not gonna do this anymore? Or like, what's the sets, reps for balance?
It's really patient tolerance.
Okay.
So I don't like to spend 30 minutes only working on static. I try to do a combination. I may do a little static, I may do a little dynamic, and I may put together an obstacle course that incorporates both. So if I'm working on ambulation and having them step over stuff, or weaving in and out, okay? They did the tug test, they got to here, but turning around threw them off balance. What would you do?
Work on turning.
Okay, I could do some work on turning, but how would I incorporate that into an activity? I can use the cones, I can weave in and out of cones, okay? So when I would do obstacle courses at the clinic, I might have them go through all this crazy stuff, maybe stand on a BOSU and they have to shoot a basket. And then they have to weave in and out of cones, step over stuff, walk the plank, so to speak. And then I may say, okay, I want you to stand right here and stand on one foot, and I want you to do ladder golf or something like that, okay? You know what ladder golf is? Okay.
No.
I don't know New Mexico terms. No? So it's 3 levels, and you have 2 golf balls on a rope.
A ladder ball.
Just
A ladder.
We call it
Texan,
ladder ball.
cut me a break, okay?
Golf balls on there.
There's golf balls on there. Alright, so ladder ball, okay? You can do anything you wanna do, but you have to know where to start and you have to do a quick assess, okay? So we're gonna open this up, let y'all practice with those techniques, practice guarding, maybe making sure you're in the right place. Do a tug. Do a tug, okay? Kind of guesstimate 10 feet, use something to mark it, a pen, whatever you got handy, see how they're doing, and then go from there, okay? And we will be walking around, throwing stuff at you and seeing what you do with it. Cool? All right. Okay, go back to center. Side to side. And Virginia, Virginia. This thing's hard, okay? There's different levels. Is it over there, Sarah?
I left it over there.
Okay, so do you see those balls over there? I picked 3, level 3, but it goes all the way up to 5. Can you imagine how hard that would be? Okay? So you can have them, so I want you to go in a circle and make all of it touch. There you go.
How much weight are you putting through your arms? Quite a bit. This is really, really
This is a hard activity.
this is really designed for ankles specifically.
Yes.
People who have chronic ankle sprains, they lose
I
their
should've been step off.
proprioceptive receptors that are damaged right in the joint.
Yes.
And so that's why they just keep spraining their ankle because they no longer can really feel
Oh, is it? Okay.
if their ankle is in the right position or not, like the joint's not telling and communicating that. So this is a really good way to start rehabbing that and improving the proprioception of the ankle joint.
Yes. Where I would start with this, to be honest, where I use this in the clinic, I would start in sitting, having them do the same thing, okay? I know Brent mentioned it for some balance stuff, but I would use it for my ankles all the time and have them go forwards and backwards. What you'll find is the more they've sprained, they can't hold that thing steady and go plantar dorsi, plantar dorsi. It's all over the place, okay? And especially when I get to level 4 and 5. Once they master it in sitting, then I might go to standing, but again, something that they can hold on to because this is hard.
And back to level 1.
And back to, yes. I started on level 3 just to give you a demonstration, okay? All right, now you can go. So yeah,